As a teenager in East Palo Alto, it's like any other hood, really. Most of the struggles I faced were things that were outside of my control, whether it be street violence or really just street politics. So I navigated my way through there. You know, you have the stereotypes coming out from the hood, going to a public high school where, white folks didn't necessarily see me a certain way. And they had their own racial prejudice from where I was coming from. And I was always taught and felt as a second-class citizen. My name is Leonardo Huerta. I go by Leo. I went to Cal State East Bay. I majored in communication with an emphasis in professional and public organizational communications. What I would love to do is work as a professor. I want to teach communications, but I'm feeling more along the lines of ethnic studies. So that's where my passion has been at. I went to Menlo Atherton High School. That is located in Menlo Park. Yeah, I'm from EPA. I'm from, it's like how you see West Sacramento. I'm from East Palo Alto. We're really totally different ethnic demographic, income demographic, totally different. Okay. My dream, see, it changed over time. I did not know what it was at the time. I thought I wanted to work at nonprofit. Okay. Because I used to do a lot of volunteering, a lot of peace marches and stuff like that as a kid, and did a lot of volunteering and activism. So I thought I wanted to do nonprofit work and do something with my city, but then it left a sour taste in my mouth because you see a lot of corruption, and at the time, that's what I wanted to do. So usually when you grow up in the hood, you want to be tough and like a thug, so you don't really express your artistry and stuff like that. And I love going to school, and I love three things: education, which is reading, writing, art, and dance. Those are my three main forms. I love doing that stuff. I did turfing, I did hip hop, I did, and then I love cultural type of stuff, so I did dancehall and Afrobeat. Like when I was 15, I just got really into that type of music, and then they opened up a lot of doors and had me meet a lot of different types of people. So that was my thing. There is a humongous, huge role in how we think and how we live. I think we hold it to a very high standard, but when we see people actually do art, we kind of scoff at it, but we're contributing into the culture just because we're not like these big name artists or whatever that you may hear on, whether from Instagram, social media devices, what you learn through art history and stuff like that. It doesn't mean that you're not part of the culture. Culture is a group of people and we create it. I think it's huge. I mean, it's how, at least for myself, it helps me connect with my people and my ancestors. It plays a huge role in just kind of my identity and helps me understand that it's an innately part of my DNA to do this and to be expressive rather than to hide it. The most exciting thing, I think it's been a process. I kind of telling the story. It happened when I was broke. I think it was right before I've never been to Mexico where I was from, so I went to the temples when I was 22. And it was a really big life-changing moment for me because at the time I put all my money on going to this trip. I'm like, I'm broke, it is what it is, I'm still working, but I'm gonna have to figure it out, you know? And then while, I forgot what it was, I think it was I had 3 days off because I was at that time I was working security and working as a file clerk at some chiropractic company in Hayward, a chiropractic college, my bad. And then I had an epiphany. It came to my mind because I had stopped doing art for a while, and I stopped writing. And then I had something. It was like develop different types of gods for each month, and I just sat back and like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and draw this out. And I drew it out, and I had this epiphany that came to mind of like somehow to make certain clothing. I haven't gotten to it yet because it's gonna take some cash.
Yeah.
But that's like for me, that was a big moment because then it kickstarted a lot of my artwork from there, much of my influence. But I've always done art. I just never really shown it to people. I think it's my approach has changed in terms of how I think about it. I developed a goal for this year in 2019 to have an art piece every week. I'm a very creative guy, so I'm always thinking while I'm driving and on the go. So when I have this idea, I kind of like, whether it be something essential to a certain culture in Mesoamerica or South America, I make sure I take like a screenshot of a, I don't know, let's say a wolf or a jaguar. I'll screenshot that, come back home, I sketch it out, and once I sketch it out, then I do hard lines with pencil, then I do a Sharpie, a hard line on that. I see if there's any like discrepancies on the drawing, and then afterwards, once I do that, then I go full on color. And that's usually just freestyling whatever I like and whatever looks good. Everything like in terms of the color scheme, I go whatever pops in my mind. It's not something I plan out or like, I'm gonna have it this color or this color. But I did do a self-portrait that I did, which I do have with me. That was something I was meaning to do, but I didn't have the mental fortitude to do it. I didn't have the confidence to do it because I didn't have a steady hand. I still don't, but yeah, I think it's just changed. It's more on a consistent basis. It helps with kind of like my mind, my mental health, and to decompress. My life is very interesting, so. I use Sharpies, pencils, Sharpies, and cardstock paper. I do not use any type of canvas. I'm afraid of acrylic paint. It's not my thing. I would probably try pastels, but usually just Sharpies. I used to do graffiti when I was younger, and yeah. All right, so this is my artwork. Some of this, so I just like to freestyle whatever like influenced me. Right now for this year, I've been doing a lot of Mesoamerican art. But before then, I was really involved in hip hop. I used to do a lot of concerts and stuff like that. Some local ones, it was fun. But this is some things that just like influenced me in what I see visually when it comes to my mind. This one's a dude who's Puerto Rican, Dominican, so I did a split, and it's in dots. So the Puerto Rican flag and the Dominican flag, and so this is all just, I just kept that. And this is my, this is kind of like, I come up very serious, but when you get to know me, I would like to say I'm pretty vibrant, but I bring a lot of energy. It's very, kind of little, sometimes it can be a little, it makes me a little kindness and ferocity. So I mix these colors. So I did with lines to kind of express the energy that I feel like I give off. This is a beanie right here and a sweatshirt. This sweatshirt is actually this one that I had, but I did it in a different color. And yeah, I don't think anybody really expected me to do something like this in these color schemes, but this is one I've had in my mind for a while. So yeah. Yeah, so a lot of it deals, I don't like to step on anybody's toes. I remember I saw something on Vice, and I pissed me off because this dude was making acrylic paintings of pigs. I'm like, and this dude was selling for $300, $400 a piece. And it's a pigs with vampire teeth. And that was it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I got pissed. And then I saw a lot of the artwork that was portrayed of black and brown communities done by someone who was Caucasian or white. And that to me just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, what the hell? And I saw how they were drawing, like that I don't feel like that represents me. And that's, I feel like when you're doing something of somebody else's culture, you have to ask permission. You have to show some respect about it and really be involved with it. You can't just, kind of hindsight it and propagate and appropriate like somebody's culture for your convenience and your cash flow. I don't think that's right. So most of it in the beginning was dealing with Mesoamerican art. Before that, I've done like a little bit of African or West African, like around Ivory Coast, the countries, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, a little bit of South African as well. Before that, it was more just the creative side. My brother used to do a lot of comic books when we were kids. We just kind of hid it from everybody. We just kept it between one another. And he did, I think right now he has like 450, just about, comic books made. And he's in the process of putting that up online. But in the very beginning, it was just more of a creative side. But when I was doing my artwork, I had when you get your own folks start hating on what it is, because I was doing like, I like gorillas. I think gorillas are awesome. And my homies were looking at it and I wanted to make something out of it. They said, oh, that looks like bait. I'm like, no, it does not, man. Like, this is something completely different. Because I like the ferocity that it comes up when a gorilla starts getting like amped up and it's going to attack. So I drew my own version of their face through a cartoon. And then once I did that, I still have it, but that was when I first started off. And then I took a long hiatus and then I went back into it. I don't like the fact that people don't understand when you're asking help, it's for help. Usually I think folks, they first off, their ego is too high. And they think that they know all the information that they need to, even though they're still local, and they don't provide you the resources. Maybe it's just a Bay Area thing, but there doesn't seem to be a huge connection between one another when you're trying to come up together and we're both struggling. I think that would bring, we would make a bond off of that, but I don't think it has been. Sharing art and letting people know. Promotion is kind of hard. You don't want to put too much in people's faces. And so like, oh yeah, this is my artwork, this is what I do, and be 100% about that. I don't like to be too upfront. It's not my thing. I feel like if someone did that to me and you handed me out like a card, I'll probably throw it away, put it in my pocket, and then it probably end up in the wash. You know what I'm saying? I will forget about it. So I think those are probably the few things I dislike. And people want free stuff. I don't like that at all. Free everything. I spend hours on this, weeks, just trying to put value in it. I just like the fact that I can decompress it. The decompression part really from artwork really helps me. I get excited doing it. It's fun, and then when I get to see, my favorite part is adding the color. I don't like, when you draw, it takes time. I don't have a steady hand. So that's why I do pencil and Sharpies, because pencils, like I mess up all the time. And then once I see where I can improve it on, then I crease it out where I press down a little harder. And then I get another mechanical pencil. And then I get a Sharpie so I can see like the improvements of it. And then once I have the basic layout, is then the creativity, at least to me, is not necessarily the format of the figure you're drawing, but how are you going to express it through color. That's what brings it to life, at least with my drawings. So that's what I enjoy. I would say, I think my friends liking it. That was great. They like, oh man, I really appreciate what you're doing. Because I don't want to get stuck in, because, every time when I do artwork like that's related to Mesoamerican, they want to say it's Chicano, and I do not, that's not my art style. I want to do specifically about my roots. I've seen a lot of self-hate between, just people trying to see where they come from. And I'm a very proud guy, and I'm okay with being like, I know what tribes I come from on this side of the world, and I'm very proud of that. But I talked to my own family about it, and they seem to get very upset. Certain family members, they don't like it. They want to be more Eurocentric. The moment I bring up my grandmother, they say, oh, well, she's mixed with French. I'm like, nah, look at that picture again. She's from this side of the world, But, so other than my friends, I would say I think the biggest one would be from my dad. That was great because I've always I never liked showing his artwork to him. He's a tough guy, you know. I hung around with a bunch of tough guys and a bunch of thugs, so you know, being expressive that way, if it wasn't a come up or it didn't attract women, then they weren't about it, you know. So, but this is stuff I naturally did. I just did it, and I always hid it from him because he's a tough guy. I didn't want to show him. Just, you know, let's go drink and work on a car. You know what I'm saying? But or play dominoes or whatever, you know. But when I showed it to him and he liked it, I was like, I got I stopped being so damn tense. I'm like, okay, how about you like this one? I kept showing him, and it was cool. And that gave me a lot of confidence and kind of just do it more on my free time and around the household, because I always hit that. But yeah, that was really big for me. That was huge actually. And then what else? I mean, amongst my friends and amongst people who I meet, they like it. And I appreciate it. I think I appreciate all the compliments and stuff like that, because I'm not a type of guy to be very boastful when it comes to stuff that I create. I'd rather just, if you like it, you like it. If you're not, it's not. I'm just gonna put it up and see what happens. You know, I'm not. And at the end of the day, it's more symbolic for me than anybody else. And it represents how I think and how I feel, rather than for somebody else's consumption and stuff like that. This is not for them, it's for myself. I've met a few professional artists, and I linked up with her through social media. She was cool. She's an artist for this person named Kobe Luke, who I guess done tours and stuff like that. But I hit her up like, hey, I like your shit. Can you help me? And I started showing some stuff that I needed some help on. It's like, well, you could probably do it in a different way. Look at this contrast, look how you can do these colors and see what you can do from there. It's like, okay, so I really appreciate the constructive criticism. It made me go harder. I think sometimes when you meet people who are super into art, they can be very pretentious. I'm not that serious into it, even though I do it. It's more like a lifestyle for me. I don't really think about it. I don't get really honed in on it. But a couple times when a few artists came up to me and they said, what did they say? They had a really big issue with me how I'm putting white spaces on my drawing, because it's kind of like when you see a picture, your eyes go to where the brightness is at. So if you have even a vibrant blue and red, your eyes will go to the white all the time. So they had a lot of issues with that. But, you know, I said, not a lot of sweat. I said to go fuck yourself, really, to be honest with you, because I just wanted to draw what's in front of me. What I was thinking about, because it's for the Taino Indians from Puerto Rico, all along the Caribbean. But then I saw where he was coming from. I could have used a different contrast, but it did affect the way I was doing my artwork. It really did, because then I started having more strategic placing of my colors. Yeah, definitely. So. Yeah, do it for yourself. It's not for other people. No one else's consumption but yourself. If you're looking to make profit off of it, that should be secondary. That's not why you should be doing it. It should just be an expression of who you are and what you want to. Whatever comes to your mind is very therapeutic. It helps you to kind of break away from a lot of the noise that's going on, and focuses your attention, whether if you're an angry person, if you're down and out in your emotions, like you're sad, it helps you, you know. Then just be thorough about it and make sure that you come through with your own timeline. I think that's really important, especially down the road if you want to start showing this to other folks. You know, start coming through with your own work and have it mean something to you at first, and then it expands and it bleeds into other areas of your life.